On the night she graduated, she stood in front of him and said, "I don't love you anymore. I never did."
Welcome to Prayer's Story Hut, where love, secrets, and heartbreak come to life.
The man who sold his land to train her through school felt his heart break quietly. The celebration music outside could not drown out the sound of his life collapsing. Years earlier, in a small town called Okelu, lived a hard-working man named Tundi. He was poor, but his heart was rich with love and hope. He met Shade, a beautiful young woman with big dreams but no support. When she cried about school fees, Tunde promised to help her. Tunde was not rich, but he believed education could change a person's destiny. He took extra jobs, carried loads, and slept late every night. Shade watched him struggle and thanked him often. She promised him love and loyalty, swearing never to forget his sacrifice. When Shade gained admission into the university, the whole village celebrated. Tunde sold his motorcycle to pay her fees. People warned him, "Be careful. Education changes people," they said. Tunde smiled and replied, "Love will protect us." In school, Shade tasted a new world. Big buildings, soft-spoken men, and expensive lifestyles welcomed her. Tunde still sent money, even when he had nothing left. He ate once a day so she could eat well. Slowly, Shade stopped calling. Her messages became short and cold. When Tunde asked if he had offended her, she said she was busy. He believed her and waited patiently. New friends filled Shade's life. She laughed louder, dressed better, and walked with confidence. Tunde visited once and felt like a stranger. She introduced him as just a family friend. Back home, Tunde borrowed money to pay her second-year fees. His health grew weak, but his love stayed strong. At night, he prayed, "God, let her remember me when success comes." Shade started dating rich men secretly. They bought her gifts and mocked men like Tunde. She told herself, "I have outgrown him. He is too local for my future." When Tunde called to ask about her final year project, Shade shouted at him for the first time, "Stop disturbing me! You're holding me back!" That night, Tunde sat alone, wondering if love had finally died. When Tunde called to ask about her final year project, Shade shouted at him for the first time, "Stop disturbing me! You're holding me back!" That night, Tunde sat alone, wondering if love had finally died. Tunde still paid her final fees. He even sold his late father's land. The village elders shook their heads and wondered if Shade had given Tunde some kind of love portion. "This man has given everything," they whispered. On graduation day, Shade shone like gold. Her pictures flooded social media. Tunde traveled far to attend, wearing his old shirt with pride. When Shade saw him, her smile faded. She felt ashamed. Her new friends laughed quietly at Tunde's worn shoes and tired face. After the ceremony, Tunde approached her with joy. He spoke of marriage and the future. Shade looked away. Her eyes were cold and distant. That evening, she finally spoke the truth. "You trained me, yes, but I don't owe you my life. Tunde felt something tear inside his chest. Everywhere first blur. Shade moved to another city with another man. She blocked Tunde everywhere. Back in Okeilu, Tunde fell sick. His body had carried too much pain. He could barely afford his medications and depended on his neighbors for food and medicines. Years passed. Tunde became a shadow of himself. Yet, he never cursed her. He only said, "May she find peace." Life turned unexpectedly. The man Shade chose abandoned her when life got hard. Her beauty faded. Her friends disappeared. With nowhere to go, Shade remembered Tundi. She remembered his kindness. Shame followed her like a shadow as she returned to Okeilu with the village women mocking her. Shade stood at Tunde's door, trembling, but the door opened to silence. The neighbors whispered, "You are too late." "Too late for what?" Shade screamed, her voice breaking. They told her not to panic and began to narrate everything. After Shade walked away from him, Tunde did not die. Instead, something inside him woke up. For weeks, he cried quietly. Then, one morning, he stood up and said, "I will not die poor and forgotten." Tunde left Okeilu and moved to a nearby city. At night, he worked as a security guard. During the day, he learned new skills from people he met. He listened more, he talked less. One day, an old man noticed Tunde's honesty and strength. The man owned a small construction company. He offered Tunde a chance to work closely with him. Tunde accepted with gratitude. He worked like his life depended on it, arriving early, leaving late. Within 2 years, the old man trusted him completely and made him a partner. Money entered Tunde's life slowly, not fast, but steady. He rented a small apartment. He dressed better, yet he remained humble and kind. After the old man retired, Tunde started his own company. People respected him because he was fair. Contracts came in. His name grew. The poor man from Okeilu was changing. One evening, Tunde remembered Shade, not with anger, but with calm. He smiled and said, "She taught me a lesson life could not teach softly." Meanwhile, back in the village, Shade's life was falling apart. Reality hit her hard. She worked at the local primary school, struggling to save enough money to return to the city. One afternoon, a crowd gathered at the village square. A news report played on the old television. It showed Tunde opening a new company building. Shade froze. The man she once despised was now respected. The entire village erupted in joy, celebrating Tundi. Fate moved again. Shade rushed home, broke her savings box, and counted her money with shaking hands. She decided to visit Tundi just one more time. At the break of dawn, she hurried to catch the first bus heading to Lagos. As the bus sped toward Lagos, Shade held her chest and whispered, "If he forgives me, my life can still be saved." But she did not know that Tunde had already made a decision about her, one that would change both their lives forever. As the bus sped toward Lagos, Shade held her chest and whispered, "If he forgives me, my life can still be saved." But she did not know that Tunde had already made a decision about her, one that would change both their lives forever. The bus arrived in Lagos before the city fully woke. Shade stepped down with dusty shoes and a tired heart. The city felt bigger than she remembered and colder. She asked around until she found Tunde's company building. Tall, clean, glass shining under the morning sun. Her knees weakened. Inside, workers moved with quiet respect. They spoke his name with pride. Tundi doesn't joke with fairness. Tundi pays on time. Tundi remembers where he came from. Each word caught her deeper. She waited for hours. Finally, Tunde walked in. He had changed, not just his clothes, his presence. His eyes were calm, his back was straight. This was no longer the boy she left behind. Shade stood up, trembling. Tunde, he stopped. He looked at her quietly. No anger, no shock, just stillness. "You came," he said. Tears rolled down her face. "I was foolish," she cried. "I thought love was loud money and fast comfort. I was wrong." She fell to her knees. The office went silent. Tunde looked at her for a long moment. Then he spoke words she did not expect. "Stand up, Shade." She did. "I forgave you long ago," he said calmly. "Not for you, for me." Her eyes lit up with hope. But forgiveness, he continued, does not always mean reunion. He told her the truth. When she left, something in him broke, but something stronger was born. He rebuilt his life from pain, and he could not return to the version of himself that begged to be loved. "I am grateful," Tunde said softly. "You taught me my worth by walking away." He offered her help, a job referral, a chance to rebuild with dignity, but not his heart. Shade refused the offers. She begged him to be her man again. Tunde refused. And in that moment, she finally understood. Some doors close not to punish you, but to protect what was rebuilt inside. Just then, the office door opened. A woman walked in, stylish, confident, beautiful. The staff greeted her with respect. Her name was Ronke. She hugged Tunde. She kissed him. Shade froze. "Tunde," Shade whispered. "Who is she?" Tunde looked at her gently. "My fiancé." Ronke turned to Shade and asked calmly, "Is this the Shade you told me about?" "Yes," Tunde replied. Ronke invited Shade into the office for a private chat. Shade told her everything. When she finished, Ronke turned to Tunde. "She deserves a chance," Ronke said. Tunde nodded. He agreed to help Shade with a position in his company, not out of love, but out of humanity.